another video on the channel today. Back on GT Sport, and we're back with the new daily race track guide for the daily race B. First up, this is the track I'm going to do. Tomorrow hopefully I'll have the daily race C track guide out. I'm going to do these. I know I've already got track guides for these tracks in Group 3, but the car that's so strong on this track for the daily race B is a little bit different to obviously the old track guides I did, because one, they're on a new tyre model, and two, it's in a car that is just so much faster down the straight, so the braking points are a little bit different. So I wanted to get this guide out. I only spent, I think it was about 40 minutes on the time trial this morning, 45 minutes, and before moving on to, I've done the daily race C time trial already. I just haven't got time to edit the track guide yet today, so that'll come tomorrow. It was P1 on the top 10 stars on both at one point, but I think I was down to P2 on this one. I have got no idea where I'll be now. There is quite a bit more potential with this lap. I seen that Afro did a 1 minute 30.8. I felt like that's the type of time that I could get if I carried on pushing it. There was two areas where I lost a bit of time. One particularly was the final corner, which I'll show you as we go through the track guide, where I'm going to point out some of the braking reference points which are really important for this car, because you really do need to slow this car down. It's quite a big, heavy car, and it's carrying so much speed. Just have a look at the speed as we go over the start finishing line. The Evolution that I tried did it at 155. I was going over the start finishing line. That's 166 miles per hour faster than the Evolution. It's insane. As you can see there, braking just pretty much on that 100 board I use as a reference. I use that board as my braking reference down into third gear with this car, and then try and hold it very close to this curb on the inside. Just be careful not to run too far wide out, because this car, if you brake too late, will just drift out to that right hand side. You don't want that. Now I use -2 brake balance, as you can see there, and for this corner you really need to attack it and cut as much as you physically can off that curb. You see a little bit of a lift off the throttle before I go over the curb. It just helps stabilise the car. You'll see me lift off, keep a bit of throttle on. Once over the curb, back on the throttle. I was a little bit delayed getting on the throttle, then you'll see the Ghost pulled away from me. That's because I didn't get on the throttle early enough for them. I've lost out maybe half a tenth there. Nothing massive, just a little fraction of time lost, but you know, all these little bits help. And obviously if I carried on pushing this lap, I'm pretty sure I'd get in the 130s. As you can see then, braking now with this car, it's so important. You've got to brake just pretty much on the 100 board, but I aim to brake a little bit short of it, so you actually, by the time you've hit that brake pedal, you're on the 100 board. And then once you've got rid of all your speed, you want to keep your car, the left hand tyre, onto that curb as much as possible. You want to pretty much skim the apex of that curb. You see there, on the left hand tyre on the curb, and then feed the power back in and try and carry as much speed on that exit. It's really important. I actually did that reasonably well that time, and I think I actually pulled a bit away from the Ghost considering the mistake I made. So you can see I gained a bit of time there. Next braking zone is just before the 50 board. I use the 50 board as a reference, however I brake just before it, because if you brake on the 50 board you're braking a bit too late. It's better to keep the car, you see where the arrow's all pointing into the apex. I like to keep it as tight to that as possible before letting it run wide, where I'll show you in a minute. You see, keeping it tight all the way until you skim the apex of that curb, and then let the car power out and use some of the width of the track. And pretty much as soon as you've straightened the car up, that red arrow is pretty much going to be where you're going to start hitting the brakes. You see there, straight on the brakes once the car's straightened up, and you want to get cutting over this right hand side as much as possible. I did okay. I could have took more off this curb, a little bit more, and probably gained another half a tenth at least on that corner, because you can actually cut over the grass a bit, which I didn't really take as much advantage of would have liked on that corner. And now onto this left hand part, you see a little dab of the brakes around this point now, just to try and get the front end to turn in, and this enables the car to rotate, and then you can get on the power that little bit early. You see, very early on the power, working our way now up the hill, and then again, very hard braking reference. I just use the green Astra on the left. There's not really a clear braking reference. I just use that Astra on the left hand side, brake pretty much just before that, and then keep the car in a straight line and stay as far to the left hand side as possible without getting onto the left hand side on the dirt. And then really got to try and clip the apex of that curb. I actually missed it a little bit, and again lost out on a little bit of time because I had to be patient before getting on the throttle. So there's probably about another half attempt there just on that little corner, and then accelerating out of the corner, working your way into the next braking zone, which I brake just past the curb, a little bit further with the arrows, but I always aim to brake just past that curb, and then down into second gear. And I actually turned in a little bit earlier. You'll see, took a little bit too much curb off. Would have rather have come from a further angle to the right, and lost the rear a bit, and I've got a little bit of wheel spin, which lost me probably another half a tenth at least, maybe a tenth, because it carries your speed all the way to the finishing line. So overall though, an okay lap, a 1 minute 31.1 when we go over the line. Let's have a little look now as we stay over to the left hand side, obviously at the finishing line as well, just to shorten the distance to that finishing line, and 1 minute 31.142, so an okay lap. 100% can get that into the 1:30s, I think, if I was to push it for a little bit longer. But I just wanted to get a base lap done to upload this, get it edited, and obviously move on to the Nürburgring for that track as well, because I want to try and get both these done. I probably won't do a guide for the daily race A because I'm probably just not going to race that one, but B and C I might race at some point, so I wanted to get the guides done to help people out and see if we can improve everyone's times to get them as fast as possible, so help you out with qualifying and get you starting further up that grid. Obviously now I'll let this lap play at full speed from behind the car, so anyone using that view can have a little watch of it and just analyze it as much as they want. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you out. Let me know in the comment section if you've enjoyed this video, if you find it helps you out, if there's anything you want to know. I left obviously the brake bias on the screen so you can see that -2. And obviously if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. I do upload every single day, and click that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.